Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and this channel is all about health, wellness, recovery, and being the best version of yourself. Today, we're going to be reviewing one of my new favorite fitness products. And before we get into it, this is not sponsored at all. Bought this all with my own money. Well, actually, my wife bought it for me, but regardless, not sponsored. These are just my honest reviews. And before we get into the video, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, it's November 2nd, and I already decorated for Christmas. Sue me. You can come for me in the comments. Honestly, I don't really care. Let's get into it. In today's video, we are going over the Garmin Venu 4. And this is not going to be like a high-tech review, so if you're looking for that, that's not me. This is just like, my general thoughts from somebody who has been an avid Apple Watch girl. So I've used Apple Watch since literally Series 1 all the way up to Series 7. And I've used a couple other products here. I have used a Whoop, and then also I did dabble in Garmin. But then I went back to Apple. And now we're back to Garmin. Now, if some of you have been here since day one, shout out. You may have seen my video where I review Apple versus Whoop versus Garmin. And in that video, I did trash Garmin. I had the Garmin Venu 2, and it was honestly a horrible experience. The watch just was not very responsive. It froze all the time. I would be working out and it would just stop. And I reached out to Garmin support and they said update it. So I updated it, I reset it, I did everything. Nothing fixed it. That was me into about 6 months of using it. Honestly, I think I just got a bad watch and I had a bad taste in my mouth because I heard so much good things about Garmin support, and honestly, they didn't help me. So that put a bad taste in my mouth and I went back to Apple. But then I watched over the years all the updates they did to this line, and then when they announced the 4 and all the updates that came with this, I had to try it. Let's start with just overall look of the watch. I got the gold and the bone, I believe it is. It's the lightest wristband. Somebody mentioned on one of my videos that it looks bulky, which this is I feel like it is definitely raised off my wrist a little bit more. But honestly, if you're wearing a fitness watch or whatever, we all look like Spy Kids anyways. So I love the gold aesthetic. And the other models were gold, but then the side was still a color. And this is all gold, which I love. And honestly, if we're going over bulkiness, if I compare this to my Apple Watch, this is a lot lighter than my Apple Watch. Even though it's bigger, it's a lot lighter, and I honestly don't notice it on my wrist. I sleep with it on. I have no issue sleeping with it on. It may be bulky. Honestly, I think the reason that it's bulky is because this model did add a flashlight to it, which a lot of the Garmin models have, and that's apparently something that people wanted in this. I don't know. I don't really use it that much because I don't really do anything at night. I can see how this is definitely good for safety if you do go on runs when it's dark out. To the people asking if I thought it was too bulky, the answer to that is no. Now, if you're going for a different look on your wrist, then maybe. I have no issue with it. Let's touch on battery life, because I think battery life is, from what I see online, battery life is a main reason that people will switch from Apple to Garmin. And I can confirm the battery life is 100 times better than Apple. My Apple Watch would literally die around 6 p.m., not even a full day of use. And really the only solution to Apple's battery life is upgrade to the new watch, which no, I'm not doing that. With this, it's advertised as 7 to 10 days, and I would say that's pretty accurate. I definitely get, I would say 8 to 9 days worth of use out of this. And I work out every day. I only run about twice a week. So if you run or go on walks outside more, the battery might be closer to that 7 days because you're using the GPS constantly. Again, I'm probably only using the GPS feature like 3 times a week, so that could make a difference. I'm not sure. Overall battery life, amazing. Now we're just going to get into overall fitness features and how I kind of use this for recovery. Before we just get into this, let me say that if you are going from Apple to Garmin, there is a huge learning curve. I am recording this video almost a month and a half after having it, just because there's so much to learn with it in a good way. And that's to say that pretty much the Apple fitness features are, did I say that? I think I described it in one of my other videos that going from Apple to Garmin is like going from kindergarten to high school, no in between. So there is a lot to learn. I'm still learning all the features to it. Garmin has their own app called Garmin Connect where you can see all your stats. And then there's also a Garmin IQ or something like that, which is kind of like their store. So you can buy different faces and apps and whatnot. I did buy this face. It looks like the Move rings. It definitely does. But I like the aesthetic of it, and then you could also change the colors, but it was like $1, so it's not like you're spending a ton of money. That is like probably my only complaint, is that you have to buy watch faces. It does come with some preset, but if you want something like fun, you're probably gonna end up buying one. Just going over like the Garmin Connect app, there is so much in here. So basically sleep score is something that it gives you, and it gives you, ooh, I did not sleep good last night. It gives you like a whole map of the stages of your sleep. So it gives you a whole idea of your sleep. Last night I did not sleep good. I had a 75. And my quality and how long you slept, and then a little insight to like if your sleep was, restorative, if it wasn't, continuous, not continuous. Last night, mine was non-restorative. It said I slept long enough, but not well enough, which sounds about right. It does give you a whole bunch of different sleep metrics. And then what I kind of like about it is that there's also a sleep coach. So based on like your activity throughout the day, it will give you some recommendations on how much sleep is needed to be fully recovered. So like today it says I should go to bed earlier and get about 9 hours sleep, which that's probably not happening. Okay, then going into something that I like is the body battery. So the body battery is kind of like, how well recovered are you today, and like are you ready for a good day of training? Are you not? So just kind of looking at my body battery. Now this is from yesterday. I'm gonna look at yesterday because it will give you like a full day picture. So yesterday I started pretty much the day out at a 73, which is not bad. But then I had it says demanding day. I did go on a run, and I was just up and out and about a lot yesterday. So I drained my body battery, and it goes into everything, like where, it says I was stressed. I didn't know that. But it just says like what is taken away from my overall recovery. So my walk, my run, my sleep added, I was stressed throughout the day, all of that. So it gives you a lot of insight into just how you're feeling. I feel like all of these metrics are very comparable to the Whoop. Now, something I will say is that comparing Whoop to Garmin, I feel like this is more accurate. I sometimes would wake up with the Whoop and it would be like, ooh, you're in the red today. You are not good. And I'd be like, but I feel fine. My actual internal feeling is much more accurately reflected with the data that Garmin gives me. I also have my homepage set up where I just have, you can change all of this. So I have like my menstrual cycle, which that to me it's not accurate yet because I don't think I've had it long enough because I've only had one cycle. Well, it says next cycle or next period is in 11 days, so we'll see if that's accurate. And it just has like an ongoing heart rate. I have my intensity minutes for the week of just like working out, and then overall calories burned. Something that is also really nice about Garmin is they have a Garmin coach. So if you have races planned, if you're a runner, you can set it up to have Garmin pretty much help you along the way to lead you up to your race to have a good race. I don't really do any of that. Now, I did like put in a little program and it would give me suggestions of like, oh, today you should do a total body circuit. I didn't stick with that program just because it was just not what I wanted to do and not really my goals. But my watch will still give me suggestions of workouts based on how I wake up. So today, for example, it said I should take a rest day. Something that's also new is that they have lifestyle logging, which is very similar. If you've had a Whoop, it's very similar to that. So it'll keep track of trends and how that affects your recovery. And you can change all of these. So these are things that I would typically do or not do. So I added them to my lifestyle, and then you can add more or make your own categories as well. And then it has overall health stats. So look at me today. I am all in range, which is great. This does say this is in beta, so I don't know how accurate these are. Hey, we're in range. This page is like an overall view of pretty much everything you can look at. So we kind of went over sleep, lifestyle, weight, calories in, calories out, pulse ox, everything. Fitness age. Ooh, that's not good. It says I'm 32. We're gonna get that better. And then this is where, like I said before, you can get different training, planning, so workouts. You can create your own workouts and start them. If you do use it for the gym, it does have like an option to, select a workout and it'll take you long. I will say there's like a reps counter on this that's, not very accurate, but you can change all of that if you really want to. When I go to the gym, I just do like a free workout. I'm not trying to log every little detail of the gym. That's too much for me. And then gear, I have my shoes in there for running, which I love because this will let me know when it's time to switch. Overall for fitness, it really is that girl. It is. It just has so many metrics. If you like metrics, if you like all that stuff, I would highly recommend. Now, I think it is more what your preference is. Like if I had to compare this to a different device, I would say it's very closely to a Whoop. I do not like the Whoop because I like to run and I like to know my pace, my distance. I want to look down at my wrist and see what time it is. The Whoop is literally just a band. It has no screen. That is why I like this better. Now, as far as connecting it to your phone, I do not have notifications from my phone set up to go to my watch. So I can't really speak to like texting. I know you can text on here. I think if you have an Apple phone, it's limited with what you can do. I'm not sure, but I do not have that set up just because I want to strictly use this for fitness and not be consumed by texts and emails that come to my watch. The only thing I will say is that if you are used to an Apple Watch touchscreen, the technology is definitely different of whatever this touchscreen is. The Apple Watch touchscreen is pretty top tier and pretty responsive. Basically, I think they use the same technology that's in your phone for a touchscreen. This I can tell is something a little different because it is like, if it's super cold out and I'm a little sweaty, it's a little hard to sometimes get it to respond, or there's like a slight delay. There are two buttons where you can pretty much navigate with those buttons, kind of. One is pretty much just a back button, and then one is like to start and stop your workouts. But that would be my only like negative of the Garmin, is that the touchscreen is a little wonky at times. I probably should have mentioned that I also got the 41 millimeter. This is the smallest one. Again, that's what it looks like on my wrist. I don't mind it. I kind of like it. I believe there is a size bigger as well. But that is my quick overall review. I love it. I love the look. The battery is great. The metrics, I believe, feel accurate to me. I love the amount of metrics there are. There's just so much with this. And like I said, I'm still learning, but I love it. I feel like Garmin has always been branded as like a running watch. I'm not a runner, guys. I run 2 days a week, but this is still great, like great for the gym. Even when I work out, it'll tell you metrics of your workout. So it'll be, if I do like a strength workout, it'll tell you the load you did during the workout, how much recovery you're going to need from that workout, the benefit of that workout. There's so much technology that goes into this watch, and I love it. If you have any other questions on this, let me know below. I will try to answer them. But like I said, nothing tech related, because that's not me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to like the video, subscribe. I see you guys watching and not subscribing. Don't do that. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.